So far, we have covered the following: physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, emotional abuse, and educational neglect. This concludes the second module of reporting child abuse and neglect training. You are welcome to review any portion of this module as a refresher or for additional information before proceeding to the next module, Module 3, regarding how to report suspected abuse and neglect. With child abuse and neglect, there are four major categories that we will be examining: physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, and emotional abuse. However, as we proceed through this training, you will learn that school staff are required to be reporters of suspected abuse, not investigators. We'll start first with physical abuse. Physical abuse can be defined as any unexplained or questionable bruises, welts, burns, lacerations, fractures, or abrasions. Sexual abuse is often signified by complaints regarding genital and anal areas, sexually transmitted diseases, unusual knowledge about or preoccupation with sex. Neglect, one of the more difficult forms of abuse to identify, can be associated with concerns related to consistent hunger, poor hygiene, inappropriate dress, lack of supervision, or willfully failing to provide an education. As with neglect, emotional abuse is also a difficult form of abuse to identify and can often show up in children through aggressive or withdrawn behavior, unusual fears, running away, sudden change in mood or behavior. Here are some additional indicators that you may experience or observe to lead you to believe that there is potential abuse or neglect situation. A student may directly report that he or she has been abused. Do not discount the possibility that a child may directly report to a teacher or other person in the school that he or she has been abused or harmed in some way. Children do self-report. A staff person may directly observe a sign or act of abuse. And finally, the student may have frequent or questionable absenteeism. Now we will proceed to examine the major areas of potential abuse and neglect in more detail.
Emotional abuse can certainly rise to the level of abuse and neglect. These behaviors, if observed, can be cause for concern, especially if there is a sudden change in a child's behavior, affect, or habits. Please keep in mind that some children may exhibit such emotional disturbances and/or maladaptive behaviors, but the cause is not attributable to emotional abuse. Other factors such as organic disorders or other mental health and psychiatric disorders may mirror symptoms of emotional abuse. There would be a need then for school staff to have as much information as permissible to determine if these behaviors are cause for suspicion of child abuse or neglect. Handout number 10 explains the DIFUS protocol for determining emotional abuse.